Hello, fellow master makers or master makers in training. I am really excited about today's video, and we're going to be covering a lot of different information. Whether you are running a current candle business or thinking about starting a candle business, then tune in for the rest of this video because it offers a lot of insight to how to successfully build up that business and how to kind of get different elements working together to assure your success, and also hopefully offers some potential motivation. As a business owner, whether it is a candle business, a soap business, or any other handcrafted business, or really any kind of new small business in general, everyone starts off as the CEO, but not Chief Executive Officer. I'm talking about the Chief Everything Officer, meaning when you start your own business from scratch, you are in charge of everything at the very beginning. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Wade here with Black Tie Barn. If this is your first time here to the channel, first of all, welcome. But if you're interested in learning more about candle making, selling candles, running a handcrafted business, and so on, I would encourage you to subscribe, be part of this community. We'd love to have you. And if you guys like this video at any point in the video, please give it a thumbs up below. That really helps out this channel. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about today's video. What I'm going to be talking about today is called the Master Maker's Prosperity Pyramid. Now, it's not something you're going to find in any textbooks. It is just something that I kind of created over the years ad hoc just to help me out internally and also to help with my business get to where it is today, and hopefully it can offer some help to you as well. And this prosperity pyramid is really broken up into 4 levels. And those 4 levels we're going to talk about briefly as an overview in this video, but I will also have future videos that dive into different aspects of some of these factors that we're going to talk about today. And throughout this video, I will offer in some of these different levels here a few different tips, insight, tools, applications, resources that I think might be helpful in some of these layers. So we will talk about each of those as we move along. Let's start off with the base of the pyramid. This is the part of the pyramid that cannot be without. There's no way to have the rest of the pyramid without the base. And in this case, that base is motivation. Motivation is the key to any successful business, not only getting off the ground, but staying off the ground and continuing to grow. Without it, everything else will crumble. Think of it as the starting point or prerequisite to the rest of these levels of the pyramid. And to provide you some encouragement and motivation to get going, I'm going to offer you a few quotes that have always been favorites of mine. Now, to be perfectly honest, I have so many quotes that I love pretty much about everything in life, but there is just a plethora of quotes when it comes to motivation. But there are a couple that help me prove today's point. The first one comes from Woody Allen, and that is 80% of success is showing up. Meaning the hardest part of doing anything is to get going, is to actually put yourself in a position to do the thing. For you sports fans, if you can get yourself to the plate, well, then you've got a chance to take a swing. Otherwise, you've got no shot just sitting in the dugout. Point is, you got to show up to get going. And for when things get tough, I've got another quote for you from Remy Witt. Goals should be just out of reach, but not out of sight. Meaning, it's not supposed to be easy. A goal should not be right in front of you, easy to obtain, because then everyone would do it and everyone would succeed, and you would also not get near as much satisfaction or value of achieving it. So goals should be kind of difficult. They should be just out of reach. You need to try for them. There's things you need to do to reach that goal. But it shouldn't be out of sight. It doesn't do you any benefit to have goals that are unachievable to you or ones that you know are just going to lead to failure because there's no realistic way to ever get it. But the point is that it will get tough, and there are times where things could be challenging, and you just have to persevere because that is all part of the plan. And lastly, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. And to get to those 1,000 miles, it's 1 step at a time. Don't skip around, or you might trip and fall. But don't race, don't be in a hurry, because if you go too fast, you might burn yourself out. Progress has little to do with speed, but a lot to do with direction. Put 1 foot in front of the other and keep following that in the direction that you are trying to go. And that is the key to keep you on track, to keep you motivated towards your ultimate goal. And the key thing about motivation is that getting motivated is easy. We all get motivated all the time. I mean, that's why you're here. That's why I got started. That's why we get out of bed and really do anything we do throughout the day, because getting motivated isn't the problem. Staying motivated, though, is one of the most challenging things of running a business, or really anything. And one way to fight that problem is to remember your why. Why did you do this in the first place? What motivated you in the beginning? And remind yourself of that periodically. Self-reflection and self-motivation is really important to help you push through and get to where you're trying to go. All right, so we know the base of the pyramid, motivation. And it is super important. It may sound cliche, but it is extremely important because without it, everything else is unstable. If you don't stay motivated, well, then you're not going to stay involved with the next step and the next step. How can you be assured that you can support the rest of these levels? The rest of it is not sustainable if you do not stay motivated. All right, level 2, management. Now, I know no one likes to talk about this topic. Well, I shouldn't say no one, because there's a lot of you out there that are like me and kind of nerds and geek out about this type of stuff. But I really do like the business aspect of things, and I like running the operations and some of the behind the scenes stuff. I do enjoy it, but it's also extremely important. Management supports everything above it. Without management, then the other 2 layers can crumble. Now, it may not destroy your dreams. You might stay motivated, but it certainly risks destroying and crumbling your success. And too many times of having failure and crumbled success can really start to also hamper your motivation. So I know it's not everyone's favorite topic, but it is important. So what do I mean by management? To sum it up, I basically mean running your business, your operations. This means managing your finances, both in and out, so income and expenses. Some of you may choose to do that with Excel or something like QuickBooks and so on. Running your website or your e-commerce. Now you can do that through Facebook sales, you can do that through Etsy, you can do that through Shopify or WooCommerce. There's a lot of options out there, and this video isn't meant to tell you which of those is right or wrong or the best or worst. It's just to let you know that this is all part of the management step. These are the type of things that you have to be thinking about in this layer. Another important one is developing operational efficiencies. Developing systems inside your business. Now, this is certainly one I'll have another video on down the road, but what I mean in this regard is tools, softwares, processes that help you run your business efficiently. Like many of us, especially starting out, we kind of wing it. We go with the flow and do what makes sense, but the more you can start kind of honing in those processes and defining specific systems to help you along your way, and we're going to talk about a couple here in a minute, that can not only help you scale your business, but also just make you more productive in general. So little things that take you time away that aren't necessarily the most efficient way you could be doing something, you can work in this step, in the management step of how to improve your process. Does that mean rearranging your workspace or wherever you're making your candles, for example, or making your soap? Does this mean having some type of testing procedure or checklist that you use for every batch of product that you make? Or creating calendar blocking or something that allows you to kind of stay on task throughout the day. Anything that helps you function more efficiently leads to increased productivity. Now, the next few are some that I've talked about quite a bit on this channel. So we're not going to go into the details in this one, but I do want to cover them because they are critical, in my opinion, and a lot of business owners' opinions. The first of which is managing your inventory. Now, I'm not just talking about your finished goods inventory, like your products sitting on their shelf, your candles on the shelf or your bars of soap. Those are finished products, and yes, of course you need to manage that. But also managing your raw inventory, the materials that go into making those products. This is important for several reasons. One is knowing when you're low on materials, you can create reorder limits. So you know when you need to order more of something. And if you can track all of that together, then you can consolidate your orders and save money by doing less orders and saving on shipping because you're consolidating your orders. But also, you don't want to promise stock to a customer if you know you don't have the materials to make that stock. And so knowing your inventory of finished goods and raw materials is critically important. And I think most of us were reminded of that this year, the last 2 years, because of the pandemic and the issues it caused on supply chains. It's been hard to get materials, very, very hard. And so managing your materials, being able to see trends and usage and reorder thresholds, things like that is really, really helpful as a small business. Trying to do it all yourself is time consuming and difficult. And so there's a couple systems out there that can help. And I'm going to talk about one here in just a minute briefly. Now, related to inventory, the other reason it's really important is your cost of goods sold. As a handcrafter, as a candle maker or soap maker, what have you, you have to know the cost of the materials that goes into your product. One, so that you have a better insight on how to price them. So if you know your base cost, that's a starting point for you to now know what you need to work with. This is referred to your break-even cost. You really got to know your break-even cost before anything else, and you never go below that amount. That will help with pricing. The other reason is for actual bookkeeping, accounting, tax reasons. As a small business owner that makes your products, you got to report your cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is the cost of all the materials that go into a product and then is sold. That's part of your expenses when you're doing taxes. So knowing your cost of goods sold is directly related to your inventory. I've got other videos on that, so I'm not going to go into more detail beyond that because that will be extremely long conversation and extremely long video. And then the last thing that's important about knowing the inventory, your COGS, your pricing, some of this behind the scene information is it provides additional insight into your business. There is a particular application that I have used for several years now. I think I'm going on year 6 or 7 of using this application. I've talked about it on the channel before. They've sponsored several videos. In fact, they sponsor this channel quite frequently. And I wanted to mention that again here because I think it's a great opportunity to reiterate to you all again why it's so helpful and why it could be so beneficial to managing these things that are a difficult part to manage by yourself. That software, of course, is called CraftyBase. CraftyBase does a lot of things. It can help track orders, track expenses. It has lots of reports, but it tracks your inventory, both finished goods and raw materials. It has price guidance based off of the cost of your materials to make a product. Constantly calculates your cost of goods for you over time. So as you order new materials, then you use those materials, and then those materials are put into a product that is sold. All of that continues to calculate for you. And so it just makes your life a lot easier than having to track it all yourself. But I also love, on an unrelated note, it helps you create recipes, which I've done an entire video on that. I'll try to remember to link it, but it's great. It's got a great recipe builder in it as well. So CraftyBase does a lot of great things, and I do talk about a lot on this channel, and it's not just because they've sponsored the channel. They actually started sponsoring the channel because I'd used them for so long. Most applications that manage full inventory, like what we're talking about here, cost thousands of dollars plus a month. It's ridiculous because they're meant for large organizations, large enterprises. This is targeted and priced for the small business. I do have a link in the description below if you want to check it out. It will allow you to start a free trial. Give it some time, see how you like it. If you decide to stick with it, of course, you can go with the paid plan. It is an affiliate link because I've been using them forever, so I do offer that affiliate link in the description below. It costs you nothing else to use that link, but just remember, start with a trial. See how you like it before you invest anything in it. But it is very, very cost effective for a small business. And the last thing I'll say on that before I move on is, yeah, there's a lot of systems out there. There's a lot of applications out there that can kind of do these similar things. I can tell you from personal experience, I have tried like a dozen of them, some that are older, some that are brand new. I've tried so many over the years. And here's the thing, some of them have great benefits. Some of them have great interfaces. Some are very easy to use. Pros and cons to all systems out there, without question. But I have yet to find one that can do everything that CraftyBase does without being a custom application or some type of system that costs you $1,000 a month. It is the only application in this price range that can manage all of your inventory correctly, including your raw materials. It tracks your expenses. It gives you actual cost of goods sold that doesn't rely on you estimating your cost. It does everything for you. And so it is the only system that is, at this point in time, the only system I can even use. I can't use any other systems because they don't do enough. All right, so enough on CraftyBase. Kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but I think it's critically important. This whole step of cost of goods sold, business insights, managing your inventory, and all of that is so important. And why try to waste so much time and effort doing it yourself when there's an application that's literally built to do it for you? As far as management, this whole step, this is definitely part of the process, a part of the pyramid that is often neglected, or at least taken for granted. The sooner you get a handle on this part of the pyramid, the easier it is, but also the better you become at managing it, managing the management layer. You know what I mean? So I encourage you, I urge you as a fellow candle maker, as a fellow business owner, not to let your dreams and your plans and your goals get away from you because you didn't take the time to manage them. And the third layer of this pyramid is making. Finally, the part of the pyramid that actually starts putting your dreams in motion. This is the obvious one. This is the one that most of you already know and already do and already probably spend a ton of time doing, which is great because this layer is literally these products that the rest of your systems are supporting. Products are the what behind your why. You got into this to make products. You got into this to get to this level of the pyramid. These other two layers make sure that that continues to succeed. It is also an extremely important part of the pyramid, but also certainly the most fun. And for what it's worth, all of these layers are extremely important for different reasons. But I know most of us really focus and constantly think about this part of the pyramid, and it's important to know how the rest of the layers work together to build this really solid structure. But this is the fun one. This is the fun part of the pyramid because it's our chance to be creative and work, conceptualize and really use our own personality, our own character, and our own ideas and put them into motion. This is part of the stage where you start testing your products. And I've got videos on testing your candles specifically if you're interested in checking those out, and kind of some of the practices that I use to test mine. And this is the part that after you're done testing, you start making your final product. You can get better at this step mostly through experience or working with others in the community or following channels like this. This is also the part where you consider safety and performance. You're not just testing for a great product, but you're also testing for a safe product. This is the layer of the pyramid that most of you will spend the most of your time, at least early on. Because testing, development, getting experience, all of that takes a ton of work in the very beginning. But over time, this part of the process actually gets easier. But early on, you certainly will spend most of your time on this part of the pyramid. Okay, so you've got your motivation. You've got a system to support your goals. The business management, managing your operations, managing your business. And then you've got products to show for it. Products that your management level supports and that motivation helped you get to. There's one level left. And that level is, well, yeah, you guessed it. It's another M, and it is marketing. Marketing is at the top of this pyramid because it's the piece that gets you to the summit. It is the part that gets you to the very tip top. In marketing, we're talking about a lot of different aspects. We're talking about labels. You can design and print your own labels at home through software like Online Labels or Avery.com. This is the area we talk about branding. You can use tools like Canva with a free Aura Pro account. You can use Adobe's Creative Suite like Photoshop. There's a lot of tools out there that help you define your brand and then use that brand in items like your labels and other promotional materials. This is also where you start spending time on social media and advertising and becoming a little bit of an influencer and promoter for your own products. And if you're looking for any tools to help manage those social media accounts and help you post to several at the same time or schedule your posts, look at applications like Hootsuite, Zoho Social. There's several others out there. There's definitely a wide range of prices, but those are a couple that I know in the affordable section, so check those out if interested. This is also a level where you think about promotions, maybe product discounts, seasonal promotions, giveaways, things like that. Anything to help promote your business. And selling is actually included in this step of the pyramid as well. You've made your products, so selling naturally would occur after that. But not just selling your products. This is the opportunity to also sell your story. You're trying to build a brand. Having a story and a presence behind your brand is what leads to brand loyalty. There is a ton of customers that continue to buy from the same brand over and over and over again without even trying other brands anymore because they are sold on this brand. They are loyal to that brand. They don't even really think of the others. And that is the most important part of marketing, is not only getting new clients, but keeping them, because it costs you a lot less to keep a customer than it is to bring in a new one. Finding ways to encourage brand loyalty is the secret sauce behind every successful business. In the marketing section, this is also where you work on pricing, because part of marketing is setting a price that works for not only your industry, but your specific market or your niche and so on. So pricing is another area that obviously is extremely important. And that's why pricing is part of marketing, because really this entire part of the pyramid is about marketing and selling. And there is one final note that I'll mention about marketing, the top part of this pyramid. And that is, it's not required. I mean, the rest of these layers, the rest of these parts of the pyramid can support themselves. They can function without marketing. You can survive. Your pyramid is still intact. The problem is, without the top to the pyramid, it becomes a plateau. And that's exactly what your business will do if you don't spend some time on the marketing part of the pyramid. Because your goal isn't to just function. Your goal is to prosper. So that is a general overview of what I call the prosperity pyramid. Motivation, management, making, and marketing. Now, I started with this video talking about how we're all a CEO when we get started, the Chief Everything Officer. And I know that sounds overwhelming because that's a lot to try to do yourself. And that is why I said you'll spend most of your time in the making section starting off. But being able to just kind of get by with these other levels, get them in place, start using them, start building them up. Not only will you become better, but they will help you down the long run until eventually you don't have to be the Chief Everything Officer. Most of us do start off by ourselves, and that's why it does feel overwhelming. But remember, it's all part of the plan. You've got to start somewhere. I'm going to leave you with one more important quote. Do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, do better. In other words, I know this is a lot. And do the best you can with everything that we've talked about. When you first get started, you are a jack of all trades. Focus yourself on staying motivated and improving your skills as a maker. Because down the road, when you can delegate the marketing and the management. Just because you are Chief Everything Officer now doesn't mean you'll be Chief Everything Officer forever. Work hard, improve as you go, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. Thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed this video at all, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Check out some other videos on the channel, and hopefully I will see you guys next time. Thanks.